copy for copy, meaning use the same title, the same thumbnail, and upload the same video. That way, if you get hit for a community strike and they take that video down, like I can't see it, I can't vet anything. And if you have it on Rumble, then you can go, hey, I got this one here. It's on Rumble. It got a strike on YouTube. What's up? And I can go over there and I can look and see if it's anything, and then I can know whether or not we need to try to escalate that.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 18 of Locked, Cocked, and Unfiltered. That's the name of the podcast. And we're here with Chris, and Clayton Slotlicker. So we got CloverTac, we have Chris, and we have Clayton. So, guys, thank you for being on my birthday. And then I found out it's Clover's birthday, too. What up, Clover? Happy birthday, bro.
Hey, man, happy birthday to you.
Now,
birthday to both of you.
Guys, go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to say, so we are going to call him Clover. That way we don't get Chris and Chris mixed up here.
Yeah, that's what everybody calls me anyway. Well,
okay.
Unless they're mad, and then it's a variety of colorful language.
I've probably been called a few of those words myself.
Right.
No, actually, when I get mad at Chris, I called him Clover for no reason whatsoever. Clover. No, it's not his name. So, if you guys don't know CloverTac and somehow you're watching this show, I don't know what's wrong with you or how you missed a much bigger channel. Clover does firearms reviews and gear and stuff like that on his channel, and I enjoy the show, and he also is a dedicated dude of making the industry better by helping content creators out, by fighting for the Second Amendment, by fundraising for the Second Amendment. He does things that I wish every content creator would do, especially in the firearms realm. And we have him on the show because he knows how to sail the waters of YouTube content creation, and he gives out really good advice that a lot of content creators don't take. So we brought him on because we want to get those lessons from him today, not only for our channels, but to help you out too. So thanks for coming on, Clover.
Yeah, man, thank you. Yes, thank you very, very much.
Now, did you guys throw out the invite because of the training coming up, or are y'all even aware of that?
Yeah, we're fully aware. I've already signed up. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Just wanted to make sure, since we're talking early, for anybody out there that is a GunTuber, does firearm content or related. I've had some airsoft guys even sign up. I have got YouTube, the firearm policy team, going to do a training. And so find me on just about any of the social medias under CloverTac, and somewhere there's a post, and you'll be able to get a link from that if you're listening to this. So
and
just want to throw that out early because I know how the podcast audiences can be. Sometimes they bail 15, 20 minutes in, and I want to make sure that they know that's a thing.
No, I'm hoping to keep them a little bit longer than that, because that's kind of really what this is about, man. Right. We'll make sure to also have your link tree up in the screen and in the description as well too, because I know it's got the invite on there as well. This is a great thing you're doing, man, because 100%. I've definitely been frustrated.
I've got hit.
Yeah, Clayton's got hit. I've already got a strike. Then they're beating me up over a video that I've had up over a year now, or probably longer.
And I have
I had about 2 months ago, maybe. I had somewhere between 8 and 10 videos taken down. So, it happens to even me. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, they were, from back when I didn't know any better. I was literally showing business cards in the video. I was like, what a dumbass. Thankfully they were old, and so there was no strikes or anything. They just took them down. Now, it sucked because the videos were at a museum. And so now I got to try to make if I want that content to live on the internet, which was reason I did it in the first place. I'm gonna have to go back and refilm, but an opportunity, I guess. You
Yeah.
look at the silver lining.
And I got a screenshot of what they hit me on recently, so I'll bring that up later on the conversation. You can kind of talk about that a little bit too. But yeah, I don't know if Chris, you want to start off with your stuff, or what do you? I mean, well, first of all, Clover, how did you get involved in all this? Like, how did you get so like
YouTube?
YouTube and all of it? Like, how did you get all? Yeah.
So the YouTube side of things, I basically bailed on running for political office, kind of last minute. I sold my business, and the kids were out of the house, and the plan was to run for justice of the peace. And I had been putting the wheels in motion on that for a decade, probably plus at least. Locally and all that. Being a business owner, of course, helped, but. And I was playing around with YouTube, like pretty much all of us started out doing, right? Throwing videos up. And it kind of got a little serious and got an invite to SHOT. I think it was maybe 17. I don't remember exactly. And so this was a few months ahead of time. And so, long story short on that, for a variety of reasons, bailed on that to, see what panned out with the whole YouTube thing. And part of that was I was going to try to take it serious, more serious, right? If I was going to put more effort into it. And so along that way, tried to learn everything I could about the platform. And in the process of that, probably the first year or so, 18 months in, ended up starting a Facebook group. And because most of the Facebook groups, at least at that time, they probably still that way, are sub for subgroups where, people go in there, you sub to me and I sub to you, and he subs to her, and it really doesn't make a difference in the world, And I'm like, okay, I'm going to start a group where we actually help each other, and we can look at each other's videos and critique and do all this stuff. And so one day in that group, a gentleman had posted, and I say gentleman, maybe it wasn't, I don't even remember at this point, but somebody had posted they were having some trouble. And so, I was like, well, okay, maybe try this, do that. I was trying to help them out and answer their problem, and several other people in there were too. And I get this message at DM or PM or whatever it is on Facebook. And it's like, hey, this is so-and-so, and I'm in your group. And I am the director of search and discovery for YouTube. And the answer to his question is blah, 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 blah. But I did not want to put that in the thing. I'm just kind of here watching and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I got some Looney Tune, right, that thinks he works for YouTube. And come to find out, it was actually the director of search and discovery so basically the algorithm, right, for YouTube. And so from that connection, just him being in that group back and forth, I was kind of his, I was the voice of God, I guess, in a way, so to speak. He would answer questions in a message, and then I would answer them, and that made me look smarter than I was, right? And so that kind of built into sort of a friendship in a way. And then, I got tapped for some different features and testing different features and doing some other things. And the next thing you know, it's like I'm getting tapped to advise on some policy. And from there, you get into these meetings with YouTube, and you meet other people working in other departments and whatnot. And probably the pinnacle or the highlight of all of that was, and I don't even remember when it was now, 2019, 2020, just before COVID, I think is when it was. There was some policy changes that's actually my language in parts of those policy changes. And it loosened up a couple of things that was very important. Number one, it loosened up this whole idea of, you had to be on a range.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yep.
And this was, let me back up and say this was monetization policy. This was not community policy. But anyway, so we had that rewritten to where basically it was just as long as you weren't in an urban area, is sort of how it reads now. I don't have the policy in front of me, and I don't remember. But it loosened up that. And then it also loosened up the ability to take a gun apart, put a gun together, that sort of thing, because it carved out the exceptions of maintenance, repair, cleaning, maintenance, and repair. So as long as you are legitimately cleaning, maintaining, repairing a firearm, and you make that clear in your video, you should not have any monetization problems anymore. So somewhere along that process, which is really interesting, of the policy, that monetization change, we tried, and I say we, myself and YouTube and the others involved, tried several different things. And one of the things they tried was they tried bringing on and building up a firearm policy team at the time, or like division or whatever. And that didn't work out. However, after the policy change, it went into effect. It was months later. I got a call kind of out of the blue from this gentleman, and introduced himself and brought another guy onto the line. And they had said basically they were leftovers from that team that YouTube had tried to bring in. That they kept a couple of them on as strictly firearm policy guys. So those are the guys that, the firearm channels, need to be talking to, need to be going through, if they're having problems. And so I kind of became a de facto mouthpiece, kind of like I was for the search and discovery guy in that Facebook group, for the firearm policy team. I'm not affiliated with YouTube. They don't pay me, none of that jazz. I'm not contracted to them or anything like that. But with my connections and as big as my spider web is, if I don't know somebody, I definitely know somebody that knows somebody. And so because of that, I've been able to help a lot of folks with a lot of GunTubers, I should say, to be specific, with a lot of different things. But all of it is unless it's something I can answer with 90+% assurity, I always vet it, always run it up the flagpole, run it by the firearm policy team, because I do have contact with those, thankfully. And I'm not the only GunTuber that has that ability. Now, obviously, they can't offer that to everyone, and that's sort of the issue. There's just way too many channels. And way too many would abuse it. I hate to say that, but it's true.
You're right.
Right.
But a lot of your really large channels, and this is where I'm kind of blessed, but a lot of your really large channels, they do have access. But unlike me, those larger channels, and thanks for the kind words you said, Tony, I wish that other channels would do what I do. I wish they would take the knowledge that they get, the information, the guidance, and everything else that they get from the firearm policy team, and disseminate that down the ranks to other channels. And in fact, what they're doing is completely the opposite, which aggravates the absolute snot out of me, because I will see channels, especially in the last few months, I've had it happen, where they'll throw up a post and they'll say, oh, YouTube deleted my channel. They're commies, and they're coming after all the GunTubers, right? And I go and I contact them and I look into it, and you know what? They screwed up. Just like I admitted earlier that I've gotten hit on some stuff. They screwed up, and privately in a conversation to me, they admit they screwed up. They ask what's the next steps, can they try to start another channel, or, what can they do? And then they turn right around and go back to social media and double down that YouTube is commies and blah, blah, blah. They never admit that they screwed up. And that does a major disservice, not just to the other GunTubers out there, but all of the viewers and the listeners and the followers as well. Because they get this perception that YouTube is just out to get all the GunTubers, and that just simply is not the case. And I hope with this training, kind of to bring it back around to that for a minute, I'm hoping with this training And believe it or not, we've got over 100 signed up for this training so far. And I thought we might get 25 or 30. So I am blown away at the response.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
I'm hoping that out of that 100, at least maybe 10, I don't think 10% is too much to ask. At least 10 actually do listen, actually do learn something, and then will help to disseminate that information kind of through the ranks. And I'm pretty optimistic that's going to happen. So I think overall, not only is this training going to be a benefit to those who are there, but I think ultimately it'll be a benefit to those who, for whatever reason, are not there.
Yeah, and like for me, I just recently started getting into YouTube. Basically a year ago or something. So I'm real small. Excuse me, but I've also gotten a few hits on some. Shut up, Chris or Tony.
What do you mean?
I'm so used to saying "shut up, Chris." That's all. So for me, then I got hit, and I mean, I'm sure I'll admit it right now. I'm sure I did something wrong in the video that they hit me for, but where they sent me the timestamp makes no sense to me.
Yeah, you can't pay attention to those, unfortunately.
Well, see, now I learned something already, so there we go. But
really?
Just ignore it. You can't. The timestamps mean nothing.
Okay.
They mean nothing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, that could give you an idea, but that is definitely not an end-all, be-all definitive. So, like, if you go there and you're giving out your discount code to Brown Ales at the timestamp, like, okay, that's probably what you did wrong. But if you go there and you don't see anything, then you need to start looking elsewhere. Okay, where did I screw up? Because this
since we're talking
what
about
happens is creators will see that timestamp. There will be nothing obvious at that timestamp, so they think that YouTube screwed up, and it's like, no, they screwed up on the timestamp. They didn't. Most of the time, they don't screw up on the flag itself.
So definitely, that's probably what happened with my situation, because literally, it's in my outro, and it's literally just smoke. It's in the editing process that I use for my outro. Yeah. So that's definitely not. So I definitely did probably do something wrong, and don't realize it. So.
Right. Yeah.
See, that's been my frustration is, I guess not. So the first time they hit me was like a warning, and it was me and Anthony from Tactical Life. We're talking about their TL-19 pistol, but somewhere in the conversation, suppressors came up. Somehow in the conversation, baffles came up, and that's what they hit me for.
All conversation, not actually showing.
So if you go in and read the policy, it pretty much says either whether you show it or talk about it. It's pretty much the plain and simple of it. So once I cut that out, I put it back up. I had no issues. But now are we talking you had a monetization problem or? No, I'm nowhere near monetized, man.
Okay, so it was a community issue. Okay.
Yeah, it was it was the community policy. Because when you were talking about the monetization, I've been kind of sitting here glancing at what some of the differences between it and the community policy.
Right. And it's a good idea, and since you're not monetized yet, getting in this habit, I highly advise it. Use the monetization policy as your guidepost, always and forever. And the reason I say that is monetization policy is more strict than community policy. So if you really focus on, rather than focusing on two policies, if you focus on one, the monetization policy, you're going to be fine. Like, you're not going to have to worry about your channel getting taken down for sure.
Seeing what they hit me for on the strike was... It was an interview I was doing with Jeff from Excess Sights about their mounting plate.
Wow, that's jacked up. Yeah, that's
it wasn't even there. It's under theirs. They're saying I was promoting the sale of firearms, but the optic is mounted on a 3D printed slide. It's not even the whole gun. It's just like if you just got a block of metal before it becomes a slide.
Was that on well, you don't live stream, so that wasn't a live
No, it wasn't a live stream. Yeah, it was pre-recorded from GOA.
Okay. So a couple of things, I would have to go look at Excess Sights website and see what's there. But what happens, because I had a channel, well, I've had several, but I had one that got hit that had some optics links going on. And the creator that sent that creator to me was asking about him, and I said, "Oh yeah, he screwed up. He had links. Well, what do you have? Oh, he had this and that. And he had Optics Planet." And he goes, "Optics Planet, all they sell is optics." And I'm like, "No, Jack, they sell ammo." And so you got to be careful about what is on the websites that you're either throwing out discount codes for or using the links for.
Jesus.
And
Damn.
if there is firearms, suppressors, ammunition, or magazines in particular, you need to steer clear of that. Find some other way to navigate that. And there are ways. And I don't know if you want to get into all that, but there definitely are ways to navigate all that.
So that video that they hit me on with that smoke, with that timestamp that didn't make it matter, that video was on Ammo Squared. Do you think that would have made a difference?
It was, what do you mean it was on?
It was just an interview I had with them at GOA.
Did they drop a link or talk about or give their website verbally or?
I think he might have given the website verbally.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
Can't do that.
Damn.
So promotion, and I'm using air quotes for anybody that may be audio only. Promotion of the sale of can be discount codes or links, verbally, written, on screen, graphic, or otherwise. So
now that you mention that, now that I think about that excess site video, I might have been throwing my promo code out there when I was talking at that time.
For excess site?
Yes, I've got a promo code for excess sites.
I would have to look at site. That's not a problem. Sites are not a community violation.
Yeah, but they sell hand guards for rifles.
That's not a violation. So unless they sell magazines,
no, they don't sell. They don't sell magazines. They don't sell suppressors. They've got hand guards. They got mounting plates. Of course, sights.
You may have had, and this is kind of what sucks. That, and another reason I wanted the training is I'm a nobody. Like if I was Brandon Herrera or Hickok, if I had millions of subscribers, holy shit! Think of the amount of people that would know me and know to reach out to me and know that I do what I do and all this stuff, right? The problem I got now is that people don't find out about me or come to me until after the fact, and a lot of times after the fact, if you screwed up, especially, I can't do anything. In your case, you said you had fixed that video, right, and redid it?
No, that video I wasn't 100% sure what they completely pulled it down. That's what they.
Oh, it's still gone. Okay, so yeah. You need to get me a link. Get me a.
I got the original, man. I can send you the original.
I don't really need the original, but get me the communications. If you,
I got those. I got
where they pulled it down.
See, that's
always keep. Always keep your communications with YouTube, because I do require those if I go to escalate.
No, yes. When it comes to that stuff, I have everything, because I even got irritated and sent them an email because I don't even know where that went. And of course, I got an email back saying we stand behind what they've said for our policy, because that's what frustrates me when you try to dispute it. All you can do is click submit review. You can't just type anything in just to say this is what's being it kind of try to explain the context of it so they have a little bit more to understand.
Sometimes you can, like on some violations, that box is there sometimes. There is a box. But you would not haven't gotten that lucky. You would not believe some of the stuff I've seen people put in that box.
I'm sure. I understand there is some frustration.
Think about it. Even if you was nice as pie, in that box with your reasoning and blah, blah, blah. First of all, if you don't have a solid, grounded understanding of policy and how to navigate policy, you're probably going to say something stupid in there that shows your ignorance as far as policy anyway, which is not going to help you. So that's not going to help you. And then if those people have seen 20 of those cussing them out before they see your one, they're not going to care at that point.
I get part of that. I just if there was something to just where we could try to explain the context or be able to just get some type of conversation there to somewhat.
My idea is better. It's educate you where you don't have a problem,
Right.
because I've got 0 yellow icons on my channel, 0. And I'm not going to say that I don't get videos deleted, because I had those old ones deleted, but I will upload a video tomorrow, in 3 days, next week, whatever, with 0% concern that I'm going to get a community strike on it. So I want other people to have that same lack of frustration that I have. And like, education is the key, number one. And then in what I think may be your case, which is legitimate over enforcement, we can just, now I exist. Everybody that's doing the training obviously will know I exist.
Right.
And I don't know if the team is going to offer their contact information to everybody or not. We haven't really discussed that. But if not, at least you've got me. And so if it's something that is legit, and I do that a lot, people reach out and I'll go through their channels and I'll go through their stuff and try to figure it out. But seriously, from what you're telling me, it sounds, with excess sites, it sounds like over enforcement to me.
That's the way I kind of felt with it too, man. But no, I didn't know. But now I'll be honest, and I'm not going to sit here and like drop names and try to call people out and crazy shit like that. But I did reach out to people that I've known and I've met that have told me, hey, if you need help, reach out, that are over that 1 million mark, that I probably know have some type of contact with YouTube. And just like you talked about, they're not wanting to share that information, and I'm not asking for them to share it, but at least reach out to them for me for that excess site video right there, just like that. And I got nowhere with it, man. No response. I pretty much got ghosted. So I really am. I'm glad you're putting this on, because
Definitely.
It's
Well,
still.
I want an army of connected GunTubers. I mean, we are past the point. You look at any other niche, and it's all moving that way. Every
Right.
one of them is moving that way. And I play around in a lot of different spaces. I've got a couple of extra channels that are just hobbies, when I get tired of the gun stuff or whatever. But you look at all these, and they're connected. Like, they know each other, they help each other out, they, all of that kind of stuff. And so these days of channels being on an island, and you going, well, I don't know that channel, we've got to get over that. We've got to get everybody connected up. And for reasons, if nothing else, like this training, I think being able to go into this training with 100+ gun channels, that says something.
That's huge. That's freaking
Like,
huge.
YouTube is going to see that. Like, YouTube is going to see that and go, holy shit. There's, and who knows what number will be by the time the training gets here. But they're going to say, that's a lot of channels. Like, in the grand scheme of YouTube, it's not a lot of channels. But I think 100+ channels wanting to learn about policy,
Especially for this industry.
Right.
Yeah.
That is really huge, man. And it's my frustration is I look back at, if you really kind of the Constitution, freedom of speech, things like that. And that's where I get really frustrated with this, is having to even go through training for a policy when I should just be able to post. I get it with certain things. Okay. I get like putting suppressors on. Some of these things. Okay, fine, whatever. I'll give you that. But it's just some of the other stuff. Like, I got to go, like, I haven't really been through the one they've just recently hit me on was a review I did on the X5 Legion.
Right.
So now that what you're giving me, I can go back through and kind of see maybe there is somewhere where I messed up that I don't think I messed up on.
And do you back up? Do you post to Rumble and stuff like that?
Well, that was my question.
Yeah, I haven't started using Rumble. I know Clayton has talked to me about it because the guy he knows, Rumble. I have kind of started using TikTok, which there at the beginning I was just aggravating TikTok, and I got kicked off so many times. I'm being a little bit smarter about it now.
My suggestion, because I don't like to escalate things when creators reach out, I don't like to escalate things unless I'm really able to kind of vet stuff first, right? Because if there's something blatantly obvious, I don't want to waste a team member's time. Like there's
totally understand that.
Right.
There's a handful of them at most for thousands of channels that they're dealing with, right? So like I don't want to waste their time over something that's pretty obvious and silly. Just silly meaning obvious. But anyway, so what I recommend is that everybody out there upload copy for copy to Rumble, Odyssey. There's YouTube may still be a thing. There's a bunch of video platforms. I don't care where you upload it, but pick another video platform that's similar to YouTube, and Rumble would probably be the best because I think it's the next biggest, and you might actually get some traffic over there, so it may be a benefit. But copy for copy, meaning use the same title, the same thumbnail, and upload the same video. That way, if you get hit for a community strike and they take that video down, like I can't see it, I can't vet anything. And if you have it on Rumble, then you can go, hey, I got this one here. It's on Rumble. It got a strike on YouTube. What's up? And I can go over there and I can look and see if it's anything, and then I can know whether or not we need to try to escalate that.
What about Utreon? Mm-hmm. So I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of
still be a thing.
Okay, so that tells me everything, because I knew there were a lot of GunTubers that were also using it as well too.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you've seen like.
I know about Utreon. There was GunStreamer. I think GunStreamer's gone. I do believe GunTube is still up. There's quite a few. I would say there's at least, gun specific and quote unquote freedom specific. There's probably 8 or 10 that's out there. The names are all escaping me at this point. And then there's probably 20 different platforms if you're just looking at, some random place to upload. Some of them are weird. Rumble is less weird. So and it may have been Utreon, but I think it was HugeTube. That one time I was uploading to there, and I clicked over there to upload, and like the homepage feed, right? There was this video that talked about Catholic gay pedophilia or something at the Vatican or something, like weird. It was weird stuff. That and a lot of pirated movies and stuff on there too, right?
Yeah, okay, I got you.
So it was like it was a place I really didn't want my content.
Right.
It's like I really don't want my.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
Because I don't want to. Anybody that enjoys content like that, I don't know that I want them watching my stuff and trying to follow them.
Yeah,
I get that. They can stay over there in their corner. Just, I'm fine with it. If that's your thing, go for it. But stay over there in the corner and do it. I don't want to be part of it.
Does anybody know where Tony went?
No, I sent him a text asking if he was all right. I hadn't heard anything back.
Wait a minute. You guys don't see me or hear me?
You might have had the rumbly in the tummy.
Oh wow!
That, or you may have had some kind of weird issue.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought some text too. So, no, I was talking to a guy and he said Rumble, and so why do you think? Well, what is your thoughts about moving everything over to Rumble?
I wouldn't. The traffic sucks. For as far as I'm concerned, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
And I've heard that from a few other people too.
And Rumble will never beat YouTube.
No.
I'm sorry, they won't.
There he is.
But there's a couple of things that you've got to keep in mind. Number one, Rumble doesn't have the infrastructure. They don't spend the money on it. They don't have the technology, to quote $6 Million Man or whatever. So that's one of the reasons that it's hard to get traction and get views and all of that. And then even if you do get views, the views don't count the same. That's another thing. And we had that with the GunStreamer platform was that way. It was blatantly obvious that the views didn't count the same. But what's going to happen, even if Rumble does continue to grow and to continue to get more serious, is I hate to say it, but you mentioned the freedom of speech thing, and I'm all for that. Problem is, these are private platforms with private money with all of this, and
you're right.
put yourself in the shoes of if you owned YouTube, right? Or if you owned Rumble. I'm a former business owner of 2 decades. Like, I know the pitfalls and hurdles and things you have to duck, dip, dodge, dive, and duck to, try to avoid as a business owner. Now take that to the level of a business like a YouTube, right? And so who knows at this point, while Rumble is held as this huge bastion of freedom right now, who knows what policies they put in play later on because of advertisers or because of different boycotts or whatever might go on that platform. Like you don't know because they're not they're not playing in the same field as a YouTube, right?
I got you. No, I mean it makes sense. I mean, understanding having policy, I totally get that. Being a business owner, to me, I think maybe
it's a hard
little
pill
more
to swallow, right?
Yeah, no.
It's what it is.
Yeah, you're right. I just, maybe on their side, I think maybe a more streamlined training on how the policy should be enforced, because I think you get some that are like in my situation with excess. I feel like that was somebody that had kind of let their feelings about certain things become a factor in how they were going to enforce that policy. And I know you're never going to completely stop things like that, but I feel like they've given them a little too much freedom with that.
You got to realize you got tens of thousands of employees at YouTube that just have a job, right? It's the same as the moron pushing picture buttons on the backside of the counter at McDonald's. Like, it's literally no different. They have a job. They don't have a career, right? They have a job.
Right.
And so your thing comes in front of them to review, but holy shit, they got a break in 30 seconds. What do you think they're going to do?
No. Right.
And so I've seen a lot of instances, and this is the reason why I said if you got those emails, make sure you keep any communication. Because I do know this for a fact. When things are over-enforced, YouTube follows up with the people that over-enforce them. I can tell you that for a fact. Now, I don't know the internals of, because that's a privacy thing, of what they do about it. But I know that's the reason that they want all those communications, to know who all you talked with, who all the correspondence was between, so they can flesh that out. And they can go to them at the very least, I'm assuming here anyway, and saying, hey, you screwed this up, do better,
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And that's something that opened my eyes years ago, because I knew that was going on years ago. That kind of opened my eyes of, they're really not trying to get rid of us. Like they're trying to walk this weird tightrope,
Right.
And unfortunately it does affect us. It affects us in a big way.
Right.
But I coined the phrase, at least I think I did. So if anybody else puts it on a T-shirt, I'm going to sue them. The only thing consistent about YouTube is the inconsistency.
Yeah, you are 100% correct on that. 100% correct on that.
And it's such a behemoth, right? So many employees, so many moving parts and pieces. Like, again, step back and get out of your fifis for a second, right? Get out of your rah-rah America Constitution for just a second and think about the complexity of the platform. Think about the infrastructure. Think about all the employees. Just think about all these things going on. And it's a wonder the platform even stays up and live to be able to upload a video, in my opinion. Like, it's legit a modern marvel to me, with as complex as everything is with it.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of videos I've been holding off posting. And I just want a couple of quick questions. I don't want to get all in depth. So guns can be there. I just can't say websites or promo codes and things like that. Cause that's where some of my videos, I feel like I'm going to get hit just because there's a gun in the video.
Yeah, no. So some of the common mistakes, right? The blatant mistakes are, legit, either verbal, written, show them on screen or otherwise, discount codes and links, right? So aside from that, There is some language you got to be careful with. It's real easy, and creators use it all the time. Go check them out, right? I got this gun from so and so. It's really cool. Yeah, go check them out. And that sounds harmless, but you just told somebody to go find that company, right? So what you do is you can mention the company name. That's cool. You can mention where they're at, like, hey, they're making some cool shit up there, over there in Alabama, or whatever.
And
That's fine. But then instead of like go check them out, do thanks, do shout out. Hey, shout out to my friends over at XYZ Gun Company. There's some good folks over there, and they're making this and that and this and that and this, and I really like this particular model. And you can kind of go down those roads. Just stay away from check it out or hop over there and
now that
you're saying that, son of a bitch.
I'm willing to bet that's probably what hit me in the X5 Legion, because I'm bad about saying those exact words. I
Same
know
here.
I say those words in some of my videos, and I'm willing to bet that's what I said in the XS video as well too, because I just done a close up and I was coming back.
I'm not going to lie to you. There may or may not be an edit every few videos myself. Now I catch it in post, but even I do it. Like it's just, that's just common language,
Right.
But unfortunately, that fits the definition.
But so as long as we give them a thanks or a shout out, like things like that.
So thanks to like Tactical Life. Thanks to Tactical Life Firearms. I really like their 13.9.
Yeah, you know
where to find them.
Yeah, give a thanks or a shout out, and then you can do a little testimonial if you want to, right? I wouldn't even say you know where to find them.
I only said that because I've seen like other YouTubers that I've seen before, they say that, and I'm like, oh, is that something?
I wouldn't say that. That plays way too deep in the gray for me.
Got you.
I'm not saying you can't get by with that, right? Mm-hmm. It's like saying there's a highway patrol that works this road all the time, and the speed limit's 60.
Right.
And I think you can get away with 62 or 63. Well, technically, you're still speeding, so you could still.
Yep.
But I'm not going to play that game. But what I do, and specifically with the podcast, so I've got SDS Arms that is a sponsor on the podcast, and so I don't even use the word sponsor anymore. And that gets into a whole other ball of wax of it sounds like e-begging. I need some sponsors and shit. That it's a totally different thing other than policy. But what I'll say is the podcast is powered by, right? And then I'll say something to the effect of, hey, we'll talk about them a little later on in the show. And then I will pop in. I'll say, hey, we got to give a quick shout out, to SDS Arms. And then I'll go, I talked to Jared today, and they're really excited about what they're bringing out for SHOT Show and this, that, and the other. Or I'll talk about, hey, the other day I took my, 1911 Musoc out, put a few rounds down range with that, that sort of thing. And in the end and once again, just wanted to give them a shout out, tell them thanks for powering the podcast, or something like that.
So it's pretty much just like with the ATF. It's an AR pistol. It's not a short barrel rifle.
Yep. Yeah.
Language.
Yep. So language and context, right? Language and context. That's the big two. And and I get it, man. It's YouTube, and it was like kicked in the nuts and cat videos in 2005, right? People just turned on a stupid camera and did a video. And creators nowadays want to do that. How easy would it be to have to put no thought into a video and just go out and turn on a camera and say whatever and do whatever and throw it up on the internet? Right. But here's the truth of the matter to it as well. If you expect that video to ever go anywhere, if anybody to ever get any value out of it, you're going to have to say the right things. You're going to have to do the right things. You're going to have to show the right things, right? And so if you add that context and if you used better language, right? If you do that, not only is that potentially helping YouTube to see that video is not violating any policy, or I guess it would be, I don't want to say sidestepping policy. It's working within policy.
Dancing the
But
line.
the extra context and the simpler language or whatever that you use could be beneficial to the rank and file viewers that's watching that too, right? So at least that's my perspective on it, especially on the context side of things.
No, that
Tony,
makes,
what are you doing?
that makes huge sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, it helps me out a lot. But now the frustrating part of it is it also makes me realize that the SPT interview that I did, there's no way I'm going to be able to post that thing, or they're going to.
No, you won't, Chris.
Even if I blur some of the things, now that I'm thinking about the conversation that we had and how we talked about suppressors and certain things in that video, I'll be able to put it on Rumble, but there's no way I'm going to be able to put it on YouTube now that I understand this. Because that was a big one, and that's what's aggravating, because it was such a great interview. And
I'll tell you what. When were you planning on dropping that one?
Dude, I've been holding on to it, man. Like, if you're wanting to look at it.
Okay, so get it up on Rumble.
Okay.
I'm saying this. Get it up on Rumble. I want to look at it, and even if you do it unlisted, that's fine too. But get it up on Rumble. Get me a link. I want to look at it, and then I will escalate that up, and I will get a team member to look at it as well and make sure.
Well,
because
the one part I know of
the suppressor thing. Yeah, okay. Any of the building when it comes to guns, and suppressors, and ammo can get gray and sticky, right?
Yep.
But
you could do what I did, Chris, for my video with Burst, so just blur it out.
It's just that it's gray and sticky, so like it might actually be okay. So if you get it on Rumble, you can get it kind of pre-vetted. Then you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about it, because if it got hit, it would just be, shoot me a text or whatever, and I shoot him a text and I go, hey, remember that video you said was good? Yeah, they took it down.
Yeah, no, because when we were doing it, he actually went over and grabbed the suppressor and actually started putting it on the rifle and everything in the video. Because what I was going to do there is just kind of blur all that out. But see, he's talking about it as well, too.
Putting it on, and I get it, because Mike Pluth, Mr. Guns and Gear, will do that. He'll blur it out when he puts a suppressor on. That was a screwed up algorithm or screwed up AI enforcement post-shot this year. Like, you should be able to put a can on and it not affect you.
So really? my burst video, I probably didn't need to blur it out then.
I said should.
Should.
I got you.
I still played it. I still played safe.
It doesn't mean you're not gonna get hit, right?
And that video is fine. But I blurred everything out. I blurred the baffles out when we were talking things. And even when he said the word baffle, I actually beeped it so he wouldn't say it, because I wasn't sure if I was going to get hit or not.
Right. Yeah.
Because what I did in my video talking about the tactical life rifle and their suppressors, when I was putting it on, I just did some picture overlays of the gun while I was putting it on. Because I was just assuming me putting it on the rifle was going to have me hit, because I was looking at the policy where you're talking about manufacturing, and I've seen where some channels have been hit because they consider you putting that on as manufacturing.
Right. No. But that gets back into the whole idea of context as well. Right. So like I will, just about any time I have some type of an accessory, and I really don't do videos and anything that, and I can't really think of anything that changes the function of a firearm. But when you look at policy and you look at the whole idea around modification, basically it's rate of fire. They're basically talking about turning stuff into machine guns, is what they're talking about with the whole modifying, right? And so knowing that, a good way, if you're, mounting a scope, if you're, putting on a new stock, or you're, doing a handguard, is, and I try to do this. I don't do it every single video, 'cause sometimes I forget. But I try to always sneak in the little caveat that, hey, today we're going to, install this right here. And just so you're aware, this doesn't change the function of this firearm in any way. It left the factory as a 12 gauge pump shotgun, and after we put this part on, it will remain a 12 gauge pump shotgun.
Right. Right.
That type of deal. Try to break it up, make it kind of entertaining, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
And throw that little caveat. The key with the caveats is lying won't help you. So, and I had a conversation just a couple of days ago with the creator on that, and he wasn't doing it, but a guy he knows was. That was, I forgot the example he gave. I forgot the example he gave. Man, what was it? But either way, he was saying that something he was showing was something other than what it was, right? And so, I think he was talking about, I think it was a full auto, or it was a select fire, but he was saying it wasn't select fire or something along that lines.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna know. They're gonna just don't lie. Leave it out if nothing else, like the whole magazine thing, right? Because there is some monetization policy anyway, having to do with like drum mags and things like that. But if you're running a stick mag, just don't mention how many rounds it holds. Get in the habit of doing that, because here's my take on that. Yeah, okay, I'm going to get a few comments every now and then that go, oh, you reviewed this gun and you didn't say nothing about the magazine capacity. Well, okay, you dumbass. You can get a 10 round, a 15, a 17, a 19, a 21, and a 30, and a 33, right?
Mm-hmm.
What difference does it make if I mention to you which magazine I'm using, right?
Right.
Like, there's a variety of magazines available for this. So, like, who cares? Who cares? But it's just little things like that and getting in the habit. And it takes time, getting that, check them out. That's a big thing. I'm telling you, go check them out. Like, don't say that.
Now that you say that, man, I know, Lord, there are a lot of videos where I have said that exact thing. So
I'm going through my head right
now. And doing videos at shows, because those folks are in the zone when they're in their booths at the shows, right? And they'll mention prices like every other word, and they'll mention websites. It's like, it is an editing nightmare sometimes with some of those booth videos. Thankfully, I got to where I don't really have to do a whole lot of those anymore. But it can be a nightmare to get some of that. Speaking of that, we hadn't mentioned pricing, but prices is something you try to stay away from.
Now, I will say, I've never really done too much talking about prices. I have talked about discount codes. So just real quick on that, talking about it and also putting on the screen just the discount code. If I don't put the website, that'll still get you.
Yep.
Okay.
Because with guns, ammo, magazines, suppressors, any type of an advanced trigger system. So if it's a binary, a forestry set, something like that, I would stay away from triggers altogether. Quite honestly, if it was me, that's what I do.
Chris, we gotta be careful if we're gonna send people over to KD's site then too, because he sells magazines and triggers.
Well, it's the terms you use. So sending somebody over there, go, hey, KD is over at No Other Choice Firearms.
Right.
Donkey punch him. Just donkey punch KD, and just make that your code word to freaking talk to friends of ours. Just go, hey, donkey punch.
Yep. No, I'm just saying.
Developing code words is fun, and your viewers will eventually catch on, because if they watch 2 or 3 of the videos, they'll get it.
They catch on.
One of the things I do is I don't say, hey, so and so company sent me this, right? But I'll say, today we're looking at blah, blah, blah from our friends over at blah, blah, blah. If you hear me say our friends over at, they're legit our friends, but they sent it to me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
Damn.
definitely do that with the SPT video. I'll go ahead and put it together, get it edited, and I'll throw it up on Rumble and send it to you and see what you think.
Let's do that. Now,
I'm pretty sure now, just us talking here, there's probably some verbiage in there that's probably going to still get me hit. But yeah, I'll put that up so you can look at it, man.
Well, that's I missed it on a few videos myself.
If this one gets hit, I'm definitely going to have to escalate it because, like, we're obviously talking about how to comply with policy here. So, what a disservice that would be. Let's see. You mentioned codes. You mentioned on screen. Yeah, the thing with a code is that code is only good if somebody goes and buys something. So
right.
It's directly the policy, the language is there.
You're directly push. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean they have to buy something or the code's not going to work. So it's like pretty obvious. Now,
go ahead.
This is an opportunity, right? You can see it one of two ways. You can get mad and YouTube's commies and blah blah blah, and go hide under your rock or whatever, or you can pivot, and you can say, you know what, ain't gonna let this get me down. I'm gonna figure out another way, a better way, and there are better ways, quite honestly. And one of those ways, I'm just gonna throw
margaritas and double shots of Patron.
Yeah, that too. You won't have a care in the world after that.
Yeah, we know.
Oh, no, brother. That's exactly where I was at Tuesday.
I had the phone calls. Sadini got the phone call. Oh, jeez. My wife got a text message.
Oh man.
So develop an email list. Every creator should be doing that. You should be at 5 subscribers. You should be starting to do that. You need your own website. You need to develop an email list. And what you need to do is you need to learn to write some articles or use AI to do it. AI can do some amazing things if you pull your transcript from a video and put it into AI and kind of tell it what you want, and it can actually write an article for you. So then when you do that, what you can do is like one of the things I do is I use Substack. I used to use a blog software in my own website, and then I realized, and then I would write the blog, and then I would go to MailChimp, which handled my newsletter, my email list, and I would go there and I would basically copy and paste the blog into that, spruce it up a little bit and send it out. And it's just multiple steps. I can actually import, or not just me, anybody can do it, but you can import your email list into Substack. And then when you write an article on Substack, it'll just push it out to everybody on that email list. And so 2 birds, 1 stone. And so what I'll do is I'll write a companion article. I try to, I don't always, write a companion article to, every video. And as far as links and as far as codes and as far as other things, you can pretty much do whatever you want because it ain't on YouTube. And then what you say is you can say at the end of the video or whatever, hey, by the way, if you want to learn more, I've got a companion article that I've written over on Substack, and I'll have that link down below. There you go.
So in the description down below, you can't have the discount codes or websites there either, correct?
No. Yeah. Or a pinned comment. I use pinned comments now, not descriptions, because people don't read or look in descriptions.
Right.
But so I use pinned comments is how I'll do it. You can't, like I said, you can't have any of them anywhere, anyway.
Right.
Not with firearms, magazines, ammo, and suppressors. Think regulated, right? Think regulated.
Right, I got you.
If you've got to be a certain age, or you got to pass a background check, or something like that, then the link is going to be contraband.
Gotcha.
Honestly, I'm surprised every one of our podcasts hadn't been hit. Because at the end, the majority of them, I have an end screen that's got our affiliates, promo codes, websites, KD's website that's got magazines and all this stuff on it. So Yeah, I'm really.
How big is the channel?
It's not. It's just getting started. We're 100 and something right now.
Okay,
So I
that's
mean,
probably
yeah,
part of it. That's probably part
I
of it.
figured that's part of it as well too. But
Yeah.
And it being at the end, like how long are those videos?
oh god, some of them are 2 hours, man.
Yeah. The longer it is, and it being at the end, like the better off it's likely to be. So
Yeah.
But now I know I don't need to be putting that in the description or anything. So
And I mean, there's a big difference. So let me say this: there's a huge difference between a discount code for a site that sells optics but maybe has a few magazines there than doing something to say like a Brownells or a Midway or a Aim Surplus or a Grab a Gun or a Classic
Palmetto.
or Palmetto. Great example. Yeah. Big difference, right? So, some of those bigger ones, like that, your viewers, the eyeballs that might be looking, the algorithms that scan, blah, 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 they know those, right? So it's a lot easier for it to recognize and flag and hit. Whereas if it's, Joe Bob's, optics, and they may have 2 boxes of ammo on that site somewhere for sale, right? Like the odds of it catching that are really, really low. Doesn't mean it's not going to be legit if it gets popped.
no, Katie's got all different.
Katie's got all
ammo. Yeah, he's got he's got ammo. He's got magazines. I mean,
triggers,
barrels.
Now, is he selling those directly, or are those linked?
No, they're directly on his website. Yeah, he's selling.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's selling. Yeah, they're not linked in.
So, Chris, basically, you could probably leave the rest of them up there and just take that one out. Oh, minus your excess.
Yeah, honestly, we probably only going to be able to leave Core and Blackout Coffee. Because, I mean, they've already hit me on excess myself, so we don't need to run that chance.
True.
Excess should be good.
Definitely take ammo squared off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Damn. I'm fucking damn.
No, I'm glad.
There's other ways to do it. Broaden the horizons, and
right.
And go other ways. And here's the thing too, you build out an email list. You've constantly got contact with those followers and those people, right? So even if, God forbid, you get completely deplatformed, you've got an email list. You can produce content, put it on your website. You could do something, right?
Right.
Plus, you've got communication with them to let you know let them know where you're at. Second thing, with like a Substack with writing the articles, you've got another piece of content out there on the internet that's now backlinked to the video on YouTube, right? And so when you start talking about search engines and things like that, more of a chance to get some traffic. So there's pluses to it. Can it be a pain in the ass playing the game as opposed to just uploading and not having to worry about what you upload? Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But playing the game, there are some perks to it.
Wow.
No.
Oh, by the way, some more perks, and this gets more into the monetization. I was having a conversation with somebody about this. So he if you can keep your channel as far as monetization clean, and stay out of the getting the yellows, the dreaded yellow icons, which is limited monetization, you will get a higher CPM and you'll make more ad money. You'll make 2, 3, maybe even 4 times the average gun channel if you do that. So again, playing within the rules, playing by the rules, it can have its perks. Yeah.
So after they've hit me with this, is it better for me to leave that there or just completely go pull it down? Because I haven't even like I know they've pulled it down, but do I need to pull it down from my end?
You can if you want. It won't relinquish. Like nothing ever gets deleted off of YouTube, so they're always going to know it was there. They're always, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But if you just don't like seeing it in your video list, yeah, you can click delete.
So like
it doesn't mean anything if I pull it off. Like
No.
that's still going to be there in the long scheme of things. Like
they're still going to see it. Yeah,
4 years down the road, they would still be able to see it.
Dude, I had a situation come up. This was years ago, but I had a situation come up. Reached out, and I'm like, "Hey, got this situation. You know, this guy swears up and down. He changed the description years ago. Blah 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 blah. He doesn't know what's going on. I'm like, I can't verify this. Whatever. I seen the screenshots. They went back and was able to see from 2015. They was able to see where a guy changed the description on a video on his channel.
Wow.
In 2015.
Wow.
So yeah, when I say nothing gets deleted off of YouTube, they can find it, they can look it up. I mean it.
Yeah, I figure they have a way to
because
that kind of crap down.
Yeah.
I'm looking right now just at my dashboard here, and it says, I mean, all I got is the the warning for that video. Other than that, I got nothing on here. But like I said, I'm a smaller subscriber.
If I go into content on my page, I can still see where they've pulled it down and everything. And they pulled my video. They pulled that last one I posted within minutes.
I will tell you what I do is if I have one that gets taken down, because I did a few months back, I had some. I do go ahead and just delete them. I delete them out of there so that I don't have to look. It's more of a psychological thing to me. I just delete it and go about my business. Okay. It makes it a lot easier too if I need to sort. You know, they're not cluttering up things with the sort functions and the different filters that you can use to sort. I mean,
right.
Yeah, it helps with that. So, because like I said, ultimately the video's gone as far as you being able to access it or the public being able to access it. So YouTube's the only people that can access that at this point. So you removing it's not going to make any difference, unless you wanted to fight it. Now, if you wanted to fight it, that's a different, like the excess sites or whichever one that you were talking about that I said
excess sites.
We may need to escalate. You don't want to delete it
because that's what gave me my strike.
Yeah.
See that right there. The first one they hit me on with Tactical Life was just a warning. That video actually gave me my strike. So I mean, could we possibly send that up to see if it would pull the strike off of my channel?
I need like I said, I need all the communications
I've got every bit of that, man. I've got your email now. I can
forward those to me, and I will see what I can do. Yeah.
No, I much appreciate it because that's all I've been wanting is to get somebody to look at it. Because
here's the beauty, right? So if you at Team YouTube on Twitter, X, whatever, you're probably going to get some bullshit. You ain't going to get no answers. If you email, probably going to get some bullshit. You ain't going to get no answers. If you use the chat support, you're probably going to get some bullshit. You ain't going to get no answers. If you go through me and I escalate it, I'm going to at least get you answers.
Okay.
So if we escalate it and he comes back and he says, "Oh man, at a minute and 52 seconds he said this or did that or whatever," now at least you know.
Because I am thinking, I'll forward you all the emails, but I'm also going to go back in the video and watch it again because I'm kind of thinking we might. I know I mentioned promo code, so that might be what got me. I'm pretty sure I mentioned my promo code in there.
Well, if it was an excess site promo code, I don't think it would have mattered.
Okay, so you're just so just because they don't sell a lot of the stuff you're talking about on their website.
Yeah, I don't think
I should be fine no matter what I've said, even if I say go check them out and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they sell anything regulated on excess sites. I don't think.
No, they don't.
No. Yeah, I was just when you started talking, I got to thinking like maybe it's the hand guards. But no, it's like, they sell some hand guards. Like, so if you want to kind of make a tactical lever action, they've got hand guards on for some of your lever actions.
Now here's what happens. And this is why I say it might be an over enforcement, right? Again, thousands of YouTube employees. The vast majority are not gun people because let's be honest, they've got employees worldwide. They're not gun people for sure. Not that they're anti-gun, but they're not gun people, right?
No, I get it. They don't. When you don't understand it, you don't know.
And so if they click over on excess sites and there is a handguard, but it's on a gun. And I mean, companies do that all the time, right? They have this handguard, but they've got a picture of it on a rifle. And they just assume that they're selling rifles or something, right? And that's why I say that's where you get into that.
I kind of because see Instagram even hit me on a picture I put up of one of their sites, and it's on my gun, but they took it as I'm selling a gun and not sights.
Yeah, Meta is a whole other ball of wax.
I'm sure it's even worse.
Well, look what happened. Horrible. Look what happened to me with Instagram. The second I changed my logo, everything was gone, and I haven't been hit since.
Yep, Meta is horrible. Absolutely horrible. I dealt with Meta before it was Meta. I dealt with Facebook, and in fact, there's a Bloomberg article with me on some stuff that I did with Facebook back in 2008. I actually had two connections that were engineers with Facebook, and ended up pulling together there's a lot of gun groups back in the day. It was on Facebook, and I pulled together like over 1,000 admins in the U.S. of various gun groups, and their policy and it was crazy, and people getting banned and just all this crazy stuff going on. And it's only gotten worse. I hate to say that, but I like it. I wasn't able to make any kind of a dent or any kind of headway, and it's only gotten worse since. And the engineers I know that I had the contacts I had back then, they don't even work there anymore. So, but it's bad.
It is. Yeah.
That's the thing, at least right now, currently, with YouTube. I've got some really good contacts. I don't see them ever going anywhere. So I think that we're in pretty good shape, I think, to be able to navigate policy. Contrary to what a lot of people think, YouTube has actually backed off of policy more than they have doubled down on it. The issue that you have seen the last several months is the whole promotion of the sale of whatever, primarily.
Right.
And what happened was that policy has been abused for a decade plus, like absolutely abused. And it got to a point that there was just too much heat on them. And so last year, around October or so, they had a big meeting, and there were big channels, Hickok, that was invited to that didn't even fucking show up. But there was a lot of big channels in that meeting. There were quite a few that did show up. What's sad is the vast majority of channels that showed up for that meeting just wanted to bitch and complain rather than ask questions and trying to learn, right? Like, hey, what's going on? How's this going to impact, everybody? What should we be doing, right? They was all free speech, and I can't believe you're doing this, and there's nothing wrong. This is all legal, right? That was all the big GunTubers. Like, they did nothing to try to understand. And I just chalk that up to, they've probably never worked with YouTube before, so they don't understand that's their default, is to complain rather than knowing that YouTube, if they can form cohesive thoughts, they can actually have a conversation and figure something out. Anyway, so what was said in that, which was over a year ago, was, hey, we're fixing to start enforcing this more. Talking about the promotion, right? Links and codes and things like that. So nothing changed as far as policy goes. And a lot of them left that meeting and immediately went out and put videos that YouTube is changing their policy. It's like, whoa, hold on a minute. What meeting were you in? Because the one I was in, all they were saying is, we can't handle the amount of people that are violating this policy. Just blatant disregard everywhere. Like, we've got to start enforcing this policy. and we're going to let you know you've got 30 days to get your house in order, basically, right? So instead of them going out, and we're talking about collectively in that meeting, I'm trying to remember what all big channels were in there, but there was a bunch of them. But collectively, 100 million subscribers, probably, collectively. And not a damn one of them left that meeting and went out and tried to inform somebody that, hey, you need to get your stuff in order and get stuff cleaned up. Like, none of them did that. None of them. And, had they done that, would have made some kind of difference with people. I don't know, maybe. I was screaming it from the rooftops. I've been screaming it from the rooftops for 10, since I started doing this, because I've known it was a part of policy. So I'm like, you can't say that in the video. You can't show that. You can't put that link. You can't do that. So certainly when they started ramping up the enforcement, well, I cranked it up a notch too with telling people, hey, you need to get those links cleaned up. Use your bulk editing tools, the ones in YouTube, vidIQ, TubeBuddy, whatever. Get those links cleaned up, get them out of there. You're gonna have issues, and especially moving forward, right? So for anybody out there that is worried about the community policy, and specifically can't do a whole lot about things in the video itself, but it's really easy to go through descriptions and make sure those descriptions are clean. I would advise you go through about the last year of content. And just take the most recent and work backwards to about a year. And if you want to go further than that, fine, go further than that, because, nobody likes having a video taken down. But at the end of the day, I can deal with them just taking a video down. What's bad is when they hit you, and if you are doing a bunch of things wrong because you don't know any better, what they're going to do is they're going to hit you. The algorithm's going to trip. They're going to hit you. You're going to get a warning. And it's not going to be too much longer, because now you're on the radar. They're going to hit you again, and you got a strike, and they're going to hit you again, and you got a strike, and they're going to hit you again, and your channel's gone. And this is all going to happen in a matter of days before you can get anything fixed. And this is another point that I want to make. Don't lollygag. If you need to get your house in order and clean your channel up, buckle down and get it done. Because I had somebody reach out to me, and they said, hey, we got a strike, we don't know what's going on, but blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, went and looked, and I said, okay, here's your problems. It's A, B, C, and D. Here's your issue. Your course of action to fix all this is X, Y, Z, right? Laid it all out. You need to do this, 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 and this. Go get it done. Like a month later, and it's somebody totally different. It's not even this creator. Like a month later, I get a text, and it said, so-and-so's channel got deleted. I'm like, text back. I'm like, are you shitting me? They're like, no, it's deleted. I'm like, so anyway, I call them up. Like, what's going on? So they're like, yeah, we got the strikes, got 2 more strikes, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, since you cleaned your channel up? Oh, well, we never got around to it. Got busy, and we never got around to. I can't help you.
Right.
Yeah.
Either
your channel's important to you and you want to get it cleaned up and fixed, or you're a gambling man.
I'm actually looking back at my videos right now. I don't have a whole lot of them, so I'm looking at them right now. In the description so far, I don't have anything I see that's going to stand out.
There's no way I'm going to be able to sit here like this is definitely something. But no, I know I've got links. But see, you're saying excess shouldn't be a big factor.
Shouldn't be, no. Unless there's something I'm missing. I'm sitting here. I haven't pulled the website up and dug through it. Guess I could right quick.
No, that's what I'm going to go ahead and pull it up too, because, I don't really think there's anything that's requires anybody, I don't think there's anything on their site where they would have to, fill out a 4473 to have it sent to them.
No,
there's no ammo.
Ooh, I just found one.
See, I'm just wondering if you go to Excess's page and you look at it, it really, if you don't know, it looks like they're selling guns and not sights, even though it says sights all over their page. But if you're just looking at it, now the way you're kind of describing things, if I'm an employee and it's 2 minutes to my break and I pull this sight up and I see a bunch of guns,
so I just thought of something, but I'm scrolling through here and it's got like a handgun and it says 30% off site wide, and it's like, I think it's just over enforcement. But that being said, I just thought of something while I was looking at this, like I need to mention. Night vision, talking about thermal or regular night vision, that can be problematic as well. So
really,
and it just dawned on me when I hit that site. Yeah, night vision is heavily regulated worldwide.
Wow.
Like crazy regulations on it. And it is also regulated, most states in the United States, you can't hunt with night vision.
No, yeah, I knew that.
Yeah. So that's not to say that's not. Let me back up. That night, I don't think it's specifically mentioned in policy, but policy also says this isn't a complete list or some bullshit.
See, they don't say night. It's not saying night vision on here. It says night sight. So could that be something?
That's what I'm saying. They may, but I still think it's an over enforcement. But I'm just trying to justify like why they might have.
You're trying to play devil's advocate. No, I get it.
So, man. Well, I'm just trying to find a reason.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get inside their head of why would they trigger it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that could be too. They could have seen the night sights and thought night vision. I see very little enforcement on the night vision, but I do know that's a thing. So
no, I'll forward everything over to you and roll the dice and see where it goes. If there's definitely something where I did make a mistake, I would, that way I can know what it was, so I don't do it in the future. So no, I really appreciate that, man. So, but no, this is just this little bit. So I can only imagine once, the YouTube policy people are actually here with the training. I mean, just this little bit is a huge help. And now I know what I can go back in, because there are descriptions I know I need to go back in there and probably take a look at and clean up.
Right.
Have you ever
worry about the recent stuff and work backwards, because you can, because
I'm pretty sure the X5 Legion is right around a year, maybe just a little over a year.
Yeah, a year to like 18 months if you want to be really sure. I would clean everything up because it's only going to help. But if you're able to, if you're out there, you got thousands of videos, I get it. You're not going to be able to. You've been on YouTube for 15, 20 years. Yeah, okay. You're probably not going to be able to do that. You're probably only going to be able to go back a year or so, and at least that's something. But year to 18 months if you can do it all. That's what I would say. What were you going to ask? Is there a way? You said, was there a way I could do something?
Oh crap! I got sidetracked with this excess stuff, and now I'm trying to see.
We were talking about descriptions, and you said, "Is there a way?"
Oh, do you ever use like ChatGPT or Gemini AI with some of your stuff?
Yeah, I use Grok mostly, which is the Twitter, the X one. But I use Gemini for some image.
I've been using that recently for like thumbnails and stuff to kind of help me out with them.
I do it with my Goofy live streams that I take immediately once they're done. I take to members only. I use Gemini for those thumbs. I try to usually I've got a thumbnail idea in mind, and I take the photos and do all the other stuff for those, when I make a video. So I use that sparingly, but I use Grok all the time. Chat GPT or Gemini would do it too. Like I was talking about, being able to take the transcript from your video or your podcast, either one, and turn that into an article. They're great for that, and you can tell it. You can tell it all kinds of crazy stuff. I even played around and I told Grok, because you can put Grok into these various modes. So Grok has got this mode called unhinged mode. And I told it, I'm like, hey, go into like extra super unhinged mode, like maximum profanity and lewdness and blah, blah, blah. And I want you to take this video transcript, which was my video, and I want you to do an article in the form of an angry movie reviewer. And oh my God, it was hilarious. And I put that up for like some members only stuff, but it just roasted it just all the way through that article, right? It was
funny.
Hilarious. And I had to tweak a few things. AI is not perfect. It's not a human.
Yeah.
Right.
So it got the spelling on some like brand names wrong, and it got, it's just some of the things, the way it worded it just didn't sound quite right. But if you proofread it, you can edit it pretty quick, do a final edit on it and save yourself a lot of time. But yeah, you can tell it, hey, I want you to take my transcript here and I want you to turn this into an article, a 6-paragraph article in the style of a Peter Jennings report, from the 1970s or something. You know what I mean? Like an AI will do it. Like, it's nuts.
That's crazy.
How it'll do stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Huh. What about titles? Does that make a difference of the video?
Well, what do you mean? As far as like traffic, search and discovery?
No, like for like getting hit on things, that doesn't make a difference at all?
Titles can certainly draw attention and get things on a radar. Okay. Text on a thumbnail can do that too. Okay. Because YouTube, YouTube's got image recognition and it can read text in a thumbnail and on the screen and all that. Words like build, I highly advise people do it a different title. Don't use the word build in your title.
I'm changing this title right now because I know that says build in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I was. I knew it was longer. That X5 Legion was 2 years ago.
Let's see. Yeah. Where's that SBR build?
But no, the XS. That
you didn't get a strike for that, right?
No, they just pulled it down. The strike was on the XS video. That's where the strike, because they gave me a warning on the Tactical Life video, which I edited that, went through their training, edited out what they were talking about, put it back up, had no issues with it.
Yeah.
It's there right now. And then the XS site video is the one where they gave me the strike from the warning.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, that video was just 2 months ago when I put it up.
Yep.
Yeah, I literally sat here, because I don't have a whole lot of videos up. I literally went through all my descriptions, make sure everything was taken out already, and I just changed all that, like you were saying, so I don't forget.
Yeah.
So mine should be pretty cleaned up.
Yeah, titles, and this gets more into traffic, search, discovery, that sort of thing. But titles are a game like everybody's got to try to play, themselves and kind of see what works best. But typically, what you want to do with a title is you want a lot of people will keyword pack and the name of the product and all of that. And for the first at least 48 hours, if not the first week, it's probably a better idea to have kind of a curiosity, what is the phrase? Cognitive dissonance. To have cognitive dissonance in your title, and especially between your title and your thumbnail. And so you don't even really have to use the name of the product, right? Now you can put the name of the product in the description, and you always need to be writing 2 or 3 sentences that are pretty keyword packed in your description. any data you can give YouTube to help them kind of better serve it up. And you've got the tag space, of course, to do that, and the description and the title. So any of those will work. So if you can do all of your SEO searchable stuff in a description, use that title to try to clickbait, basically, in a good way, but to try to clickbait. But then after, if it's getting really good traction for your channel, kind of assess that at about the 48-hour mark. If it's still going strong, doing pretty well, leave it alone, until probably the week mark, and then go back and look. And then once that traffic starts to die off, the initial traffic, then change the title to a more searchable, like the name of the product, the caliber, the size, that sort of thing.
Jeez, man, this is
like this handguard is effing awesome, or something, exclamation point, all caps, right?
Right.
And then like after 48 hours, it starts to drop off, and then you say, Midwest Industries, M-Lock, so-and-so 15-inch handguard review, right? And just change the title of that. And then that way it's playing more to search, because your initial traffic's dying out. Because you've got 3 traffic sources. You've got browse, you've got suggestion, and you've got search. And so browse is people go to their homepage and they're seeing that on their homepage, right? Or they're going to your channel page and they're seeing it on there. They're browsing YouTube in some way, not looking for anything specific. Suggested means it come up after another video, or it's posted alongside another video, or that sort of thing. Or it's in that little end card thing YouTube does at the end of videos. And then search is obvious. People are searching for it. So,
damn.
And
I didn't know that. So
you play on the browse. The browse is how things go viral. This browse. So
gotcha.
You try to play that game early when you get that initial rush of traffic,
right?
And see if you get lucky.
So when I'm looking at my analytics for like even suggestion, if I see a video and see that it's increased from suggestion or whatever, that could also play back into an end card or an end screen or one of the cards that I have in one of my other videos. Is that right? So even if it's on my page, it's still looked at as a suggestion, even though they're clicking from one. Okay, gotcha. All
Correct.
Right.
That would still be a suggested. Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Man, this has been like Chris
Where
said
have you
before,
been all my life?
I can't wait till
Piney Woods of East Texas, man.
I can't wait for this training now. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're doing this, man.
The
and I'm
hell
glad
was that?
that we were able to get you on so we can help push this training more to hopefully get more people in there, because maybe if they see how many people are in here, maybe it could be for a good thing to where they might look at maybe making adjustments to some of these policies to where it makes it a little bit easier for us to understand them.
So
I know that might be a stretch, but
you're saying things. It's like I've already been down this road, right? So policy is, and I know this because I helped write that one section of monetization, or a couple of sections of monetization policy. So they write policy the way they do, not to be vague to screw us over, but actually to be vague to allow us more lateral movement. If they locked the policy down as specific and descriptive as they possibly could, in other words, they said, okay, we're going to let a gun guy write this policy, right? And I know this because I helped write it. And so there's a lot of versions and back and forth before we got it right. They want to allow it. They want it to be a little bit vague because they don't want to just restrict the crap out of it.
Right.
And if they get specific, if you get specific with everything, you've got to be specific with everything, right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
And there's no gray areas at all. And so that leaves out nuance, and there's a lot of nuance in what we do and how we say things and that sort of thing. So,
well, and I don't know if maybe this,
and that extends, and I'm talking about policy in general on their platform, not just gun policy, but policy in general. That's their approach. They try not to be super specific because when they do, it doesn't lead to a good place.
well, and maybe another thing from their part is like when I got that warning, there was this training it said I could do.
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't there as long. Maybe they could put little things like this about getting people to understand verbiage and mentioning things like that in that training instead of that was the most bullshit. I felt like I was back working at Verizon Wireless taking some corporate BS training that really didn't teach me anything. It was just their way to say, all right, if you do this, you got this on here less days than what it would if you didn't. Like if they actually put something in there to give some context to us, just like the little thing you're talking about with verbiage. I'm not saying sit here and lay it out, but just have something in here saying be careful about what you say and how you say it and different things like that. So I don't know if that's maybe feedback that we can give them in this training to where they can maybe make modifications to that particular training.
Well, that's going to get talked about. I almost have no doubt that's going to get talked about in the training coming up, right? So that's happening in a way. Now, as far as them able to blast something out and do it platform wide and institute it like that,
no, I'm not saying platform wide. I'm just saying like for me, I'm not saying platform wide. I'm just saying when you get hit with that warning, instead of the stupid training they've got you doing now, have stuff like this to where it explains, all right, you need to be careful with verbiage. Right. Just to me, a little bit more clarity to it than what was wrong with this video. And I'm sitting here looking at it like, I'm reading what your policy says and I'm looking at this video and really to me, I don't see anything wrong with the video. But now when I read between the lines in your policy, okay, now I see what's wrong with this video. They don't really give a clear, this is what's wrong, like verbiage and stuff like that. Just yeah, I didn't really catch on to that stuff into the video. I'm just trying to do my best with getting through the training.
Like they're not creators, right? And so that's one of the issues you get into is there's this disconnect that they don't, because they're not really creators. They don't understand a lot of the things that we go through and that we deal with. And again, we get back into nuance, right? There's nuance there, and they completely don't understand that. I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking I don't know how well that works, but there's also the issue that we've got a whole lot of people that you give them an inch and they're going to take a mile.
No, I get, So
if they go too far explaining things, there are people out there that are going to find exploitation loopholes and stuff in there, and then ultimately comes around and bites us all in the ass.
Just like somebody already found a way to freaking switch over the V series.
Yeah.
So, beat me to it. I get it's. I guess, for example, is there's so much overacting in the video that you can clearly see what the violation is instead of really just explaining, all right, they use this terminology in the video. This is what makes it a violation. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that gets into, I hear you. You're talking about a more specific response. I've had that with them. The amount of reviews that they have to go through in a day, it's freaking insane. Like one employee does something like 6,000 reviews in a day in a shift.
Oh, I'm sure
Damn.
This is, it's like a call center in a way, and I've worked
so they don't have time. Well, they would have to know, right, that to be able to put you said XYZ. They would have to know that specifically. That was a policy violation. It would not need to be like they couldn't guess at it. right? And then they'd have to, okay, well, this is what he said, and you'd have to type that out, or timestamp it properly. I mean,
Right.
that aggravates me with the timestamping, because that was supposed to be a cool thing that would help, and more often than not, it doesn't help at all. I mean,
Clearly, with my incident,
I will say
it's to the point. As soon as somebody says timestamp, I immediately go, I don't pay any attention to timestamps.
now I will say with my Tactical Life video, they were spot on with that timestamp.
Sometimes they get it right.
Like when I went to that timestamp, and then when I started looking at the policy like I was a YouTube employee.
Yeah.
Now I knew exactly what they were talking about, and that's why I made that edit, and they let it stay back up.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of the questions and a lot of the thoughts, right? And a lot of the opinions that I had once upon a time.
Man,
I think this training is going to open your eyes. I think it's going to help you a little bit.
No, this right here has already opened my eyes, so I can only imagine what the training is going to do.
That's what I tell most people is be willing to learn and be willing to open your mind a little bit. And the more you go down this rabbit hole, the more you're going to see. And it's really weird. The more you're going to see, like I can open up YouTube here when we're done with this. I'll open up my homepage of YouTube, and I can guarantee you there'll be somebody's channel, and it may be a gun channel I know or don't know, who knows, but there'll be a gun video pop up that I can find a violation in. Like I guarantee you there will be.
wow.
And it's just things like that, or I will be on a podcast with somebody and they'll say something, or I'll be watching a video and they'll say something or do something, and I cringe. It's just, I just understand, and people will say, well, like you guys said, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? Like, it's hard for me to articulate sometimes because I'm trying to speak on behalf of YouTube, which is not my position to do. I don't work for them.
Right.
But it's also things that I've had those same questions, and they've answered those questions what I've found to be pretty good answers, and so it's like at the end of the day, it's their platform. We got the second largest search engine in the world, the ability to make hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month on ad revenue. Look at the amount of people we can reach. Mm-hmm. It's not that, to me, it's not that hard of a game to play, to have access to all that. It's really not. God forbid it could get to that point, I guess. But like I said, the tide seems to be going in the other direction. They seem to have backed off and loosened off a lot of stuff. We haven't had an actual policy addition or change. Again, we've got the enforcement change, sure.
Right.
Definitely got that. But as far as an actual policy itself change, we haven't had anything in 5 or 6 years.
Oh yeah, wow. It's been a while.
It's crazy.
You think about that. That's pretty big. Think about all the school shootings that have happened, right?
Yep.
All the church shootings that have happened, and all the anti-gunners and have thrown a fit, and left-wing media and everything else that have thrown a fit over all that stuff, right?
Right.
And there's been absolutely zero policy changes, come out of it. So that's, at the end of the day, that's kind of a win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you were talking about, it's not so much a policy change. It was just they're getting a little more stricter with the enforcement. Which
they put more highway patrol on the road. Is what they
did.
Exactly.
There you go.
What they did.
Right.
They didn't change the speed limit. They didn't lower the speed limit. They just put more highway patrol on the road.
Yeah.
But when, like you were talking about, those bigger channels don't really discuss it that way and discuss it as more of they're changing policy. It gets, you're right. No, you are 100% right, man. And that's another spot where I get irritated is, I don't even know if it would really make an impact, but to me, if you really want to show YouTube we're serious about maybe trying to, but I know they've already done it, it'd really take all of these big gun channels shutting down their channels before I think really maybe some eyes opened up a little bit more.
Um,
But nothing like that I know is
at
ever going to happen.
Well, at the end of the day, the like I said, they all get invited to the meetings and stuff, right?
Yeah.
The bigger channels do. So they, assuming they show up, they know what's going on, and in the background, they're playing the game, right? They just don't tell everybody they're playing the game.
You
right?
know,
They're fighting the man, and YouTube is commies. But no, your channel is up because you're playing the game. Because if you wasn't playing the game, your stuff would be gone.
This is gonna, I don't know, maybe this is gonna sound bad. I'm probably gonna piss people off. I really don't care. But in a way, now that we've had this conversation to get a better understanding, it's almost like watching Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah.
And everybody is in some way, shape, or form almost getting played because of how they're trying to get it their way. This person's trying to get it their way, and they're playing each other's side to try to help get it their way, which you're never going to have it your way or your way. We've got to sit down, like you talked about, and have that conversation instead of just coming in and complaining.
Compromise with YouTube is not compromise with the federal government. There's a big difference. It's a huge difference.
Right? No.
Close to being in the same universe, right?
I'm just right, but I'm just saying
if they're willing to have a conversation, which they are, let's have that conversation and see where it goes.
Exactly. Instead of coming in there and treating them like the federal government and just complaining and wanting it your way or the highway.
Yeah. Well, I said, you're talking about deleting the big channels. I get so frustrated because I can't help everybody. Like, I don't know everybody to help everybody. And most of the time it's too late by the time I found out. Yeah. And it's just so frustrating. I spend so much time on this. Like, I could be 100,000 subscribers if I had never went down this path. I would be that by now. There's not a doubt in my mind. But there's not a day that goes by that I'm not talking to a creator. I'm not helping somebody in the creator capacity in some way. And I don't charge a cent for it, And so that cuts in my time to film for other stuff or do other things.
Obviously. Oh, yeah. You're totally right.
Mm-hmm. And... I was having a conversation with actually a larger YouTuber. It's been a while now, but I'm like, it was before this whole training thing, and it's kind of what the conversation kind of led into trying to figure out how we could get this done with YouTube. And I said, I'm to the point that I've got to do one of two things, man. And he's like, what's that? And I said, I've either got to build a course that I sell at a reasonable price, $20 a pop or something, and then offer consulting for an hourly fee, or say, fuck it, let YouTube delete all the gun channels on the platform because they're breaking the rules, because either they don't know no better or they're poking the bear, and just become the only gun channel on YouTube. I said, and either way, I think I'm getting to the point I would be happy with that. and I'm like, but obviously the latter I don't want, because that doesn't help the Second Amendment. That doesn't help the gun community. That doesn't help us overall, right?
Correct.
We need as many channels as possible on the YouTube platform. That's just the platform. That's where society happens. No,
you're 100% right, man.
And we've got to be there. And so what's the play? The play is to try to get people educated,
Man.
In mass, I should say. In mass.
Wow.
And I also got to thinking about it, and I had some folks like Rob Pincus. He was like, hey, you get the course done, I'll push it out. And, all these other people were all about, and I got to thinking, and this was the conversation I actually had with YouTube too, when they offered to do the training. And I was like, hey, I'm going to do this course, and I'm going to try to start doing this because I've got to do something. I got to do more, right? I'm just not reaching enough people, and I'm not reaching them in time. And I'm like, my problem is, anybody that knows me, that's spent any kind of time with me, It's pretty quickly you can tell I know what I'm talking about. I'm not full of shit. But if you just look at my channel numbers, right, or whatever, like, who am I to try to be telling people how to do stuff, right? Like, I don't, without the opportunity to talk about it, I don't really have the, I don't want to say expertise or clout, authority, right? It's like, who's this guy that's 20,000 subscribers? Like, he's trying to tell everybody how YouTube works. Like, what does he know about YouTube? Mm-hmm. And to their credit, that's why YouTube gave me a check mark, is they thought that would help. So I don't know if anybody out there has noticed, but I do have a check mark. So
yeah, I noticed that when I first found out about
that's
everything.
That's why that's there. Yeah, I'm special. Everybody knows I'm special. My mama tells me all the time.
Same here.
Apparently, YouTube thinks I'm special too.
Wow. So I'm gonna kind of backtrack just a little bit, because there was something I was curious about when you got to talking about a team. Do you know what the reason was on why that never really panned out?
Because it was going to take a much larger team to do what they were trying to do.
Okay, that's what I was kind of thinking. I was just, you didn't really touch, and I didn't want to stop you because we were having such a good conversation. I wanted to just kind of step back real quick, because I was a little curious when you mentioned about a team, and I was figuring that's probably what it was, because like here in South Carolina, we have a group called SLED that handles all the permits and stuff. And you've got over 500,000 permits in the state, and you've got 5 or 6 people that work in this department.
Yeah. Yep.
So, you know, I get a lot of phone calls like, why is this taking so long? And I'm like, look, you got to understand, there's this many permits with this many employees. So,
yeah. So what and I really didn't I don't think I got into grave detail. So their idea, this is the way, again, this is all coming from YouTube. So this is kind of what I was told. Was they put it, and I think it was like in between 20 and 30 that they brought in. And they were vetted to be gun people, right? All of that kind of stuff. And the idea was they were going to be the reviewers for the gun content. And then they found out that, like, there's so many reviews at large that, like, sifting through all the reviews and which one needs to go to the gun people, like, that was a pain in the ass in and of itself. But then once they got everything to those reviewers, that it was still, even once they did that number was overwhelming for that number. And so, like, how do you, like, Southern California, how do you find hundreds of competent, educated gun owners that want to work for YouTube as a reviewer in Southern California? You feel what I'm saying? Like, you laugh and you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So, like, it's like this wasn't going to work. So what they did is they took, like, the cream of the crop, the better ones out of that, and then they crafted, like, a firearm policy team. And so that's the one in particular, but some more may show up that will be doing the training. And to my knowledge, there's less than 10. They kept, like, less than 10. So maybe closer to 5. But I deal with 2 is all really I deal with. Yeah. And mainly because of consistency reasons. Right. You know, I pretty much go through them for everything now. And the consistency is the reason. One entry point, right? And then they can go up the chain and go lateral and do whatever, you know, like as they need to.
Right.
But all going to start with that training, though.
Yeah. So when is that? Oh, go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, when is that training?
So in the forum, for those that might be watching or listening that hadn't went over there yet, I did put in their best time of day, best day of the week, that sort of thing. There's a reason I put that. Ultimately, it's up to the team members and when they're
Okay.
going to be able to have the time. But there's a reason I put that in there is so that at least that information can be considered.
Okay.
So they can kind of look
as
at
far as
the majority and kind of narrow it down from there.
right now, as far as how quickly, right? I'm hoping before Christmas, so
Okay.
I'm hoping within the next couple of weeks. The way that this is going to work, I was going to close it out actually today. I was going to close the form. I got to be able to close the form in order for them then to extract
To
the data
compile
from the
everything,
form,
right?
Yeah. So, and I had a big channel that I talked to a couple days ago that forgot to share it with his stuff this week, and said he would do it next week. In fact, he said I'm setting my alarm now to remind me, but you also call please and remind me. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. So we do have one big channel, well, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but that works. That is going to share it out next week. So I'm like, okay, you do that. Next week is Thanksgiving and all. That's a good time to kill it anyway. So
Right.
I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to shut the form down next Friday. Once I shut that form down, I'm hoping like within a week or so.
Okay.
Okay. I'll make sure to. I know I shared it when I saw Rob.
YouTube typically the vast majority, except for the rank and file people, YouTube typically goes on vacation middle of December to after the first of the year. So they have that two week whatever window or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the rank and file people don't, but any of the directors and team members and stuff do. So that's why I'm saying I'm pretty confident it'll happen before then. So within the next couple of weeks, 3 weeks.
Well,
No, I shared it when Rob shared it. I'll make sure to reshare it and let everybody know from
I'll share it again too.
Me and stuff that it's going to be closed out on Friday.
I'm tickled. Like the small guys have definitely shared it. The smaller channels have definitely helped. And I don't remember what we were at, but I know we're in 3 digits. I know we're over 100. I've only seen a couple channels that I was like, what the hell? One was a gaming channel and the other one was some kind of a prank channel in Spanish. So that signed up. All the rest appear to be gun channels. But that's another thing, the reason that I asked for the information and the data that I did in that form.
So you make sure you've got the right people in there.
Well, if I ever have to escalate anything, first of all, that's the data they always ask me for. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to put that in this form. That way, when we get to Q&A, if anybody has had their channel deleted or they got some kind of a channel question, like at least those team members have the data already and they can follow up, right? They don't have to ask for that data. They can just pull it from the spreadsheet and then follow up on whatever that question might be. So that can be beneficial that way. And then the second is so that they can vet the channels to make sure that they're actually,
legit.
gun at least gun adjacent. Yeah.
Right.
Because I think there's 3, last time I looked, there was like 3 airsoft channels in there, or maybe 2 airsoft and a paintball. But either way, our policies, the gun policies apply to that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when you said airsoft and paintball, it got me thinking that makes sense on why those
makes total sense
would apply to that, because a lot of your airsoft and even a lot of your paintball guns are looking more and more like the real thing. So I can definitely.
And they're legit shooting each other with them.
Right.
Too,
exactly.
So,
True.
Right.
So,
wow, we don't do that. So.
No, I appreciate you coming on. I think this is a great conversation. I learned a shit ton. I can't wait for the train to learn even more. And man, especially on your birthday and Tony's birthday, you guys taking the time to sit down with us and, share what you got.
And it goes back to another thing I want to mention real quick is this goes back to you never know who you're talking to. Because we've 100%. Discussed that before here. And like you were saying, you're not necessarily that big, huge gun channel, but you've worked your way to make those right connections. So you never know who you are talking to.
Or who that knows somebody.
Right. I've said it.
Go ahead, Chris.
I've sat at tables where there's been presidents and CEOs of gun companies, and I had no clue about that.
Yeah.
But I know I've been in the corporate world, so I understand that a whole lot more of knowing your audience, and you never know
100%.
who you're talking to. The second thing, real quick, Clayton, I'm going to let you get your thing in here. This is also another point on why I feel as a community, if we don't get our heads out of our asses, there is a very good chance to me we could lose the Second Amendment and possibly even the Constitution in general, just from a freedom aspect, because of how people are holding on to information that would be hugely beneficial to everybody, to make sure we help everybody grow and help people get more educated around the Second Amendment.
Ouch. Right. No, like I was saying, I've ran across you at a few shows before, and I saw the YouTube training. I didn't know that you had those connections with YouTube. I thought you were just a gun guy that was going to put on the training yourself, but I didn't realize you were actually bringing in YouTube. So I appreciate you for doing that. And I appreciate the time, and obviously grateful to have met you a few times. So,
well, I did. So if anybody's curious, because it's not like this is something new,
right?
I don't have any of it on YouTube anymore. But if you go to any podcasting platform, for many, many years, I did a Thursday night show called After Hours, which was nothing but bringing creators on and talking about creator related stuff.
Chris, it's not the same type as your After Hours either.
And so, I don't do it anymore, but for years and years. So when it was going on and I was helping write policy, the whole thing, what I said earlier about there hasn't been any new policy, this enforcement is old policy. You can go back and pull those podcasts up, and there's the receipts. So,
crazy.
This ain't nothing new.
No. Look forward to the training for sure.
Yeah. Again, thank you hugely. Thank you for taking the time again, especially on your birthday, to just come in and have this conversation, and hopefully we can help get the word out there even more. If you're watching or listening, like you said, Friday is going to be the cutoff date for getting signed up for that training. So get in there. If you're out there and you're wanting to learn this stuff and you're in the same boat as what some of us are right now, trying to understand this is definitely where it's going to be at.
And I'm just gonna say this now. I'm gonna extend the invitation. You're welcome on our podcast any damn time.
Cool. Yeah, it'd be nice to talk guns at some point.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
As long as we don't give out websites, right?
Right. Well, it ain't my podcast. I can say whatever I want.
Nice.
Nicely played, sir.
No,
now,
really. Go ahead.
Get out there and donkey punch Gideon Optics.
That's right. Gideon Optics.
Huge thank you again, man. Really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I hope everybody has enjoyed this episode. I hope if you're a content creator, this has helped you out in some way. If you're definitely in the gun industry and you're doing content and getting frustrated, get signed up for the training.
That's a good point. I know, believe it or not, Smith & Wesson is signed up. I seen the other day, and I hate that I just publicly told that, but but to your point, when you said industry, it reminded me a lot of industry have channels and they're having issues. So this is not just content creator in the sense of like GunTuber, but companies that have channels may want to take part in this as well. It's true.
All right.
There you go, guys. Get out there and get signed up, people. Again, this has been episode of 18 of Locked, Cocked, and Unfiltered. Huge thank you again to CloverTac for coming on.
Absolutely.
I hope everybody has a good night.